to Critical Minds with Rosa. I'm your girl Rosa, and of course, we are here with another hot topic, a wonderful episode on racial politics. Let's get right to it.
A lot is made of race in 2021, even though it appears that race was or race is or yeah race was in fact a much bigger issue um, some decades ago due to just the background of the differences with people from different regions. First, it was the Egyptians, even before the whole African campaign with the Europeans. It was the Egyptians that enslaved people from back then, and there is sort of some divide in Africa to this day with, Africans that are a bit less melanated, and then it come forward with the whole European campaign coming to West Africa and pillaging, stealing, and capturing black people as well. So it kind of bleed from back then to modern days, and there's still some residue of racial issues today, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot is made of how race relations is portrayed nowadays relative to what it really is. You understand? Now,
Yes.
what I tend to believe that is sometimes race is utilized beyond what the reality is, right? So if it is beneficial to have a race believe that they're being oppressed or
Mm-hmm.
that they're being undermined by a particular government or a particular political persuasion, they utilize that through sort of like mental, I don't want to say mental slavery, but a mental trick of sorts. I have
Mm-hmm.
people just be swayed by what they say because they know how to get them riled up. So, guys, is race an issue, or how big of an issue, if it is it in 2021?
Well, I just want to go back a little on what you said about, giving us a background as it relates to racial politics. Because when you touched on Africa, I do remember a comedian, you guys might know him. He was a South African comedian. He's now in America, and he's working with one of our,
Oh, Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah.
Right, right.
Yes, Trevor Noah. It's Trevor Noah. Right, Trevor Noah. And he did mention, quite a few of that as it relates to, if you are not of a particular skin tone, you do not get a
Mm-hmm.
particular preference. In my mind, though, I think some people I'll say, and I'm saying this pretty carefully because, people might want to come at us for no reason. Some people overuse the race card, you know for example, some people will just be wanting to get a particular type of job. I'm not saying, in my eyes, I'm not saying that yes, you shouldn't have a mixture of persons in a particular entity or enterprise. I'm just saying, if someone else qualifies and they're more qualified or whatever, they're more fitting for the job, it shouldn't be that you're then just saving the job for that person. However, in American politics, though, we have seen over the years where this has played a major role. Even Jamaicans, follow along with the politics because, most persons are wondering, will they be able to get visas at the embassy? Will they be able to get their green card based on who is in power? And so
Mm-hmm.
this has quite an influence on us. As a result, you will see in their political debates that they stress a lot, on race. And of course, they have all right to do that because, America is very diverse, a wealth of cultures and different people. Nonetheless, I remember there with Donald Trump when he was running for office, his main tagline or main statement is that he's gonna build the wall, right? And that got him some followers or some influential votes from persons who are really not supporting of immigrants crossing the border. And then, of course, with presidents
Biden, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, right? He's now in office and he's talking about what he's going to do to give persons who are illegal, their green card, their right to travel and live in America. So it is quite an important topic. It is just controversial, very controversial.
Mm-hmm. Hi, girl. What say you?
All right, so I know not much about this topic to be honest. But based on what I'm hearing so far and my understanding of the terms, racial politics for me now would seem to be something like almost like a hierarchy, wherein where you're coming from, the tone of your skin determines what position you're on in any sort of scheme or triangle or in society as a whole, right? So when it comes down to racial politics, if I should narrow in on Jamaica per se and have just a quick, general view of persons who are spearheading um, campaigns in Jamaica, who have the portfolios, who are managing things that make our backbone what it is, right? In essence, it seems as though I'm not quite sure what happened before, but you can say that the lighter skin tone are persons who are the white man then they are the one that are controlling what goes on in society, right? As regards to why black people are why you're not seeing more of the colored persons in higher roles like that, it's very controversial, as most of you guys will say, and it kind of cause discussions like these. If racial politics, if it is important, if it does happen, if it makes sense, or if persons are biased towards a particular, like, it is very controversial because if you should look at the actuality of life, it's what's before you and you cannot necessarily ignore it. So it is definitely something for me to do more research on and to get a better understanding. So I'm just here to learn, really.
All right. So, in
Okay.
addition, I wanted to add, even looking back at going back to America, because again, racial politics, especially in our region, because we're from the Western region, we focus like America is the focal point. I remember, what's her name? I have it here, Kamala Harris, when she is running for vice president. A lot of information went out. People went into her background, saying, oh, she has links to Jamaica, she's a Jamaican descent. And as a result, if you wanted a particular social group to go out and vote, this is information you want to send them, because the moment somebody hears that, oh, this person is Jamaican, they're like, hey, guess what, we need to go and vote, we need to go and support or Jamaican. And it's the same thing that was done when Obama was in office. They did not just look at his qualification. Why couldn't they just look at his qualification? No, it was more of, oh, he's African American and his parents are from
Yeah,
Africa, and with them being in office, they can help the minorities, because that's how
yeah,
the terminologies they use. They'll help the minorities, low income earners from the black society. And so they got a lot of African American persons going out and voting to support that particular cause. So in retrospect, it is not looking at the person's qualification, but more of the person's color or black background.
Right, right. I agree. And it's kind of sad that we resort to that. And if you dare to think freely with your own mind and not with your skin or any um, patriotic affiliation, it's almost like you're being ridiculed for thinking for yourself. So if you
Yeah.
don't agree with the masses, so the the black man identifies a few things in Obama's mandate or whatever they call it. And he's like, you know what? I don't agree with a lot of these things. Let me vote for the other party because I've a greater deal of what they are putting forward is beneficial to me and I think beneficial to the greater society. And because he is black, he is presumed to be of a particular persuasion just by the virtue of him being black. And it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you're less black if you think otherwise,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think there is anything more demeaning than thinking that a black person is not permitted to freely think because them black. So because you're black, you're supposed to automatically like Joe Biden because he's saying all of these wonderful things, and
Right.
Kamala Harris have all of these links with black culture and whatever not. But it's terrible because why we can't think for ourselves, and why is it that because I am black automatically nothing else, just automatically I'm supposed to agree? Why is that?
Yep. That's a very good question.
I you know what I think? I think because alright, because majority of the population is not necessarily alright. It's not a fair game in terms of how politics set up or how life on our way. You can say, alright, all the people has to do is just educate themselves, get an understanding of what is good for them, their neighbor, and their nation on a whole. It's more like you're looking for something fast to improve your lifestyle or how you're living right now. And if somebody's going to come to you and sell you things, and then it is so easy to target, as you said, the minors, you target the minors, you get them by giving a lot of promises, and it's always a set of people, right? It's always going to be a set of people that them target. So it's either you're going to go against those set of people to make the richer persons happier, or you're going to create something to let the poorer persons or the minors more attracted and willing to get up and vote for you. And so it's never gonna be even, and it's never gonna be fair because no one wants to be equal. You
Yeah.
get me? So like, wow.
Everybody wants to be a little above somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and this brings, the fact that we're talking about racial politics also brings something to my attention, something that I was really thinking of um, during our last election in Jamaica, something that is closer to home, and that is sexism in politics. Now, when we're looking at sexism in politics, of course, I'm a woman, and yes, women are independent and women are going out now and being involved in more male dominated roles. And so if you were to look back at the poll, when we were looking at members of parliament for the different constituencies, there was a particular political party that had more females, and there was another political party that had less. And even throughout their debate, the question was asked, what do you think? What do you think about putting more females, into um, parliamentary roles, and a particular political party was not able to answer favorably. Now, saying this to say that due to the fact that this particular political party had more female members of parliament, you will realize that that particular political party was not able to get more females to come out and vote. And what people are not realizing is that these are strategies that are being used. I'm not saying that they're not qualified, because hey, thumbs up to women empowerment and all of that. I'm not out for you. I'm just showing you that hey, there are strategies And if you want to get a particular response, if you're looking for a particular target audience, if you're looking for a particular set of people to vote, then you're going to make certain investments or certain initiative that would appeal to that particular society.
Right. Agreed. And I don't think there should be necessarily a greater push to have women, um, black people, Asian people, white. I don't think there should be a particular push to have, especially in politics, particularly in politics, because I think politics should be so, how do I say, sort of rigid and disciplined. I think if the person fits the mold and operates in a fashion that demands and creates success, that person should be placed in that role, regardless of gender, complexion, anything, especially for politics, because so much of the society's successes and failures rest on politics and policies. And politics is not like, or having a woman in a movie, or having a man in a movie, or having a black man in a movie. There's not much resting on that, right? So you would say Hollywood trying to push more LGBTQ or
Right.
push more black people or whatever. That has minimal. There is influence in movies or whatever, but that compared to the social construct that we live in and how reliant we are on politics, I don't think we should have any sort of push to have any particular demographic be placed in any position of power. If this person fits it, regardless of age, gender, complexion, race, whatever, if they fit and they work, let them work. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yep. And while I can agree with you, there are persons who are still out there who are gonna say no. Why can't I see a representation of myself? And if we look back at this, it will be going all back because we're looking at racial politics. Let's just look at race in general. As a child growing up, um a female, let me say female, because guys are, the stereotype is that you're gonna play with chalks and cars. So that has nothing to do with gender bias or anything. But when it comes down to females, we got a Barbie doll, some skinny looking thing, a white chick. And as a female, you grow up thinking that, oh, this is the ideal look. This is what I should look like. Why can't I look like this? And so there were less representation. Persons were not able to see themselves. Even in our market, when it comes down to novels, I am a fan for romance novels. I love the Mills and Boons. I love the Harlequin. I love all of that. But since recently, even in our market, they took it out. And to be honest, I'm disgruntled because I'm like, it's what I want to read. But they took it out because they're saying it is stereotyping our kids' minds. They're thinking that, okay, if you don't look a particular way, you are not beautiful. And so we have more books. Yes, books are there, but it is supporting a black character. So something that you can recognize or somebody you can relate to. So saying this to say that in politics, I believe most people want to see themselves. They don't believe that, okay, if they're all white people in there, then guess what, nobody understands what we go through because there's nobody there to represent the black. And if they're all black persons in there, there's nobody there to represent the Hispanic. And if they're all Hispanics, then there's nobody there to represent, yeah, the Aboriginal. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because really and truly, only who feels it really knows it. A person can only empathize as far as I can see what you're going through, but you have to live it. You have to actually go through it to know it. But what I want people to understand is that not because you're black meant that you go through it. You have some people who are black with white blood, white heart, just saying that.
Mhm.
They don't know poverty. They have not been through it. You understand? They are privileged just the same, even though they're black. So if it is that you're looking for representation of yourself, just be careful. Do the regular check. Again, I'm not discrediting anybody. Everybody has a right to run and follow whatever career path they want to do. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, it shouldn't be the sole thing that determines your outcome, you know?
That's true.
Agreed, agreed. But I think it's sort of a double-edged sword as well because I don't think you can please everybody in a society
Yeah,
at any time, right? So when the blacks feel marginalized and we reach out and try to empathize and try to push the blacks, the Asians feel marginalized. We can't fit everybody at the top. And so I feel, and at some point somebody goes say, but wait, why is so and so like even when Barack Obama was the president of the free world, blacks did still feel marginalized. You
yeah,
understand? This man was the chief of police for the police department of the entire world, and people still did feel marginalized.
mm-hmm,
People go always feel some sort of difference because, and blacks go feel it way worse than everybody else just because of the history. But
yeah,
I feel um, in order to get some sort of progression, because there are some awesome white people, there's some awesome Asian people that has no relation to the sort of thinking from a bygone era of so-called white supremacy and
right,
a hatred for black people. And if we try to marginalize
them,
ourselves in a sense, it's almost like you that are trying to be inclusive is not doing enough, and then we're going to be fighting out the same people that are trying to welcome us, right?
yeah,
So I think we should just give this whole unity thing a chance. Sometimes somebody else is going to be on top. Not everything is done racially, motivated. Not everything is because you're black.
yeah,
Sometimes we just have to appreciate that, listen, the world is a much different place now, and there is way much more unity, and we should accept it. We should.
Yeah, not many people are willing. Not many people are willing to actually pay attention or to look at it a little bit deeper. A lot of persons will take it as simple as skin color or where you come from. Because they could say, all right, this such man is from such place, so he's definitely gonna root for us and he's definitely gonna understand where we're coming from because he has been here or he looks like this. So persons, not all, and sad to say, not all will be interested in wanting to know the intricacies of anything. They just want to know that okay, somebody up there that can balance how they feel about who's running their country or
mm-hmm,
their region. It's okay, all right. As long as that person is up there, I feel even safer. Like walking, like it narrows down to simple safety, like walking on the street,
mm-hmm,
seeing what's happening every day, policies that are coming out, and you're saying that okay, the type of persons up there that are making the rules and regulation, the persons drawing legislation, creating laws, and all these things, then go make you feel uncomfortable or scared because you're not. A lot of persons won't say, "All right, let me actually observe this person who is running the security
mm-hmm,
or the whatnot, or the health minister or whatnot." They'll just say, "All right, then skin color light, can't trust him. Next party, let me see who has that, who's running for the same portfolio, and just
yeah,
go with them." And it's all a part of security. And as me say, getting a better life, having a better life depending on who's running the backbone of a country. So it's not going to ever be fair, and it's not going to ever be treated. We're never going to reach that level where persons are going to see it like that. Based on how history is aligned, it's already stained. The entire timeline is stained. So it's never gonna be treated as a fair topic. Neither will appointment in terms of position of
yep.
color or whatnot or understanding. So
I
Yeah.
completely see your point. And just to piggyback on what Dalvern had stated earlier, because I know that when we put this out there, people are gonna see, they're gonna be like, what? When it comes down to, yes, the world has changed somewhat. um, I was able to live for a time in a different country, like live, not just visit and see it as a tourist, but live there on a daily basis. And sadly enough, racism still exists. So while I know that time has changed, we live in Jamaica, we are sheltered, we are not exposed to some of the things that you might see on YouTube or Instagram. Someone with a video saying, "Look at what they're doing to this young man," or "Look at what happened to George Floyd," or "Look," and we're like, Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter, but I just wanted to make this point that even though we do understand that there are some people who are not there for racism, they're like, hell no, we appreciate all lives, everybody is important. You still have those people who will make your life a living hell just because of the color of your skin. We're here in Jamaica, we're fortunate, but I'm telling you, experience it somewhere else. Go and live, not just visit, because visiting, oh, you're gonna see all the luxury, all the beauties, you're gonna go to the tourist sites and everything is good and dandy. But when you actually live, work, and play somewhere, and you grow children in a particular area, you see racism is still rearing its ugly head. So it's for us, as Dalvern said, of course, let's unite. Let's look beyond color. If you're qualified for the job, you're qualified. And let's put aside color and let's live as one.
Yeah, but honestly, it's what is taught really. Is what hate somebody growing up and deciding that they're going to hate a particular race or somebody for how they look, how them look, is basically what was taught to them. You still
Yeah,
have persons, in the
for sure.
household, elderly persons who express themselves openly after discuss of other persons and where they're coming from. And there's no better way to teach a child than demonstrating something.
Hmm.
So,
And go
exactly.
ahead.
So, go ahead.
Right. And to add to that as well, a lot of what takes place is just a misunderstanding of what takes place in a different culture. You understand? And a lot of it we misrepresent as racism. So the projects in America, right? People, mostly poorer set of people, usually people of our ethnicity. Um, is it racist if a white person is apprehensive around somebody from that area? I don't think that's racism. You understand? Somebody might say, look at that racist white lady. She's grabbing up her bag and going on the other side of the road. No, she's legit scared. She doesn't understand that, hey, not everybody from here is dangerous. But
But why
because
why
of
is
how
she
things are
scared?
portrayed, huh?
Why is she scared?
Because of how it is portrayed, people in the projects who now sell crack, consume the crack, and who are now something the gangster, whatever
Then
them
what is she
affiliated with
doing in the
somebody with
projects
gangster.
then? She shouldn't be in the projects.
No, I'm just no, no, no. She's not in the project. I'm just saying for argument's sake, to
Okay,
see
okay.
somebody that looks or fits the part, fits the description of somebody that would be from somewhere like that.
So
Now,
again,
she doesn't
stereotyping.
understand, right? It's stereotyping, but I don't think it's racism. It's not racism, right? It's just a lack of understanding, and we can't be calling out every case of not understanding as racism if you're trying to get people to learn. You
Well,
understand?
I
I think
can give
racism
you,
is
yes, go ahead.
I think racism is more overt. You understand? I don't think people accidentally be racist. I think somebody has to be trying to be racist, that lady is reacting like how a lady in Jamaica would be if she see a guy that, you understand, him kind of look kind of funny. He don't look like he's about anything professional. He looks like an unscrupulous type of person, and she'd be apprehensive just the same. But because they're both black, it's not looked on as the same thing. It's not racism. It is stereotyping, but I don't think it's stereotyping to the negative degree. It's just being aware of what something looks like and judging it based on what you're seeing.
Alright, so we can agree to disagree because I can tell you about situations like I'm a female. I don't dress like a crook. I'm not a crook or anything. And I lived in this particular area in a foreign country where there's mostly white persons, and walking down the street by myself alone, and there is this person coming the same direction I was walking. She changed the route. No problem. Again, you said that's not racism. That's fine. You don't interfere with me. That's fine. I'm good. I'm walking along the street again. This person driving a school bus, right? It was raining, and so there are puddles along the side of the road. And she saw me from a distance, like it's not a crowded street or anything. And she drove over into the puddle, and the water is whoop all over me. Okay, I had to literally turn for it not to go into my face. Another situation, I was working in a particular restaurant. You want me to give you the money in your hand, right? I'm working at the restaurant. You order something, I give you the money in your hand. That's what you want. But you toss the money to me on the counter. If I toss it back, it's a problem, right? You make slurs. Go back to where you came from. We don't want you here to take away our jobs. That's racism. And you have people who have to endure this. My sister went to a party at a local pub in the same area. It was like after one, it's a cool neighborhood. You don't have to get a cab to go home. Everybody's walking on the street. And the woman made a snowball and tossed it at her. Okay? Hit her, and she couldn't do anything. When we called the police, all the police said, do you have a description of the person? Okay, we're coming over. To date, we have not seen that police. Okay, that is what we talk about when we say racism, and there are persons who are enduring this every single day. So for an onlooker, it is different, but you know, there are people who are actually really going through it, even though times and things have changed. People really go through it, and George Floyd is rest his soul is a perfect example. Something that happened sometime last year shows you that yes, while we are growing, there's still a lot to fix. And if there was not a big outcry, if the advocates did not come, trust me, nothing would have came out of it. But because it was on the news and everything, and there's a change of government, they had to make that one an example, and so that police is arrested.
Still, we're
But there
not
are
fully.
so many others who have not been addressed. Yes, I go.
I was saying it is still, even with all those who are advocates for this change from the beginning of time, it not trying to deter anyone from thinking that okay, yes, think progressive or try to get it resolved, but it's just while we're trying to actually reach that, that equilibrium, that stability that we can, okay, yes, we can live and exist and coexist with each other and not be as, scared of, we are particular skin tone and we know a particular neighborhood, right? But it's just never going to be something that is fixed. It's like you just patch, it's like a bicycle, you patch it and you
Yeah.
just ride, and one day in the month, that same patch will come up again. It's just won't, as long as it's that fabric of time has been pierced, you cannot necessarily, you can try stitch it, but over time, the more you wear it out, it just lose out again. So it's like we're going to always advocate for these things and have discussions and create hashtags and voice and create movements, right? But sad to say, unless persons really look within and actually reach a sense of nirvana where things that coming from your past or you're hearing from your parents, that you can decipher things for yourself and decide, okay, this is what makes sense and what I should believe in and practice it. Because a lot of these persons who are in these type of homes who are taught this particular type of hate, you can't really blame them. You get me? But at the end of the day, we all have a separate mindset where we can break things down and choose to believe in a particular thing and work on it. You get me? So at the end of the day, it is still not good enough reason. It's just not feasible enough for you to say that, oh, you were taught this, so you don't know better. You get me? So
Yep.
it's like it all comes down to an individual person and their mentality and how they plan to go out in the world and project that and what they want to reflect of themselves, really. You get
Most
me?
most definitely. And so we're
That
running out
is
of
true.
time.
That is
We
true.
we are running out of time. This is indeed a hot topic. I told you guys, go ahead and leave those comments. And if you want us to see, or if you want to see an encore of this, of course, or a part two, go ahead and leave us a comment. Again, this is Critical Minds with Rosa. Check it.